When I check my subscriber base, I don't see you there. So please fill in the gap and let's begin. So, first of all, thank you so much for visiting Live Talks with PB, subscribing to my channel, and also visiting my website where this is my first time I've built it. So, I hope you all liked it. When I started Live Talks with PB, I didn't know where exactly this journey would take me. I had an idea. I wanted to share some of the real experiences and lessons I've been learning from Napoleon Hill. And I wanted to talk about motivation, mindset, life, growth. But somewhere along the way, I started learning things myself. Things I never expected to learn. I never imagined that I would ever build a website of my own and also manage it on everyday basis. I learned how things work. I learned to figure out things if they are not working. I started learning editing. I also understand content development, and I also, have a fair understanding of recording and mixture. Now, every time I learn something new, I realize something very interesting. It's not just creating content. Content was creating a better version of me. And that's what brings us perfectly to today's lesson from Napoleon Hill, imagination. Because before I built the website, I had to imagine that I could build it. Before I started recording, I had to imagine myself actually doing it. Before I created this episode, I had to imagine that I could share something that might be useful for someone else as well. And I didn't know everything when I started. I still don't know, but I started. And once I started, I discovered that learning happens along the way. That's a powerful idea. Sometimes we don't start because we think, I don't know how to do it, but maybe the better question is, what if I can learn? Think about your own life. Maybe there's something you have been thinking about for months, even for years. Starting a business, changing your career, learning a new skill, writing something different, starting a YouTube channel like I've done, maybe getting healthier, building something of your own, and maybe the first thing that stops you is, I don't know how. But here's the right thing to know, you don't have to know everything before you begin. When I started this journey, I didn't know how everything that I was supposed to know. I learned about it because I started and I found out I am the only one responsible to get it to the end. And that's where Napoleon Hill's idea of imagination becomes very practical. Imagination allows you to see possibilities before all of that happens. Think about almost everything around you, a business, a website, a book, a building, a piece of technology, and at some point, it existed as an idea in someone's mind. Someone asked, what if? And they started working on the answer. That's how ideas become reality. First, you see something in your mind, then you learn what you need, then you take action, and then slowly ideas start to take shape. And that's exactly what I'm experiencing at Life Talks with PB. I imagined creating something, then I had to learn how to create it, and I imagined managing a website, then I had to learn how to manage it. I wanted to create an audio content, then I learned how to put it all together. And even new challenges gave me another lesson, not just about technology, but about myself. I discovered that I had learned things I once thought were outside of my comfort zone. And that's something I want you to think about. How many things have you decided you can't do without ever giving yourself a chance to learn them? Maybe you're not bad at something, maybe you're simply new to it. That's a big difference. You may not know how to build a website today, but you can learn. You may not know how to edit a video today, but you can learn. You may not know how to start a business today, but you can learn. You may not feel confident in speaking today, but you can practice. And that's where imagination meets action. But let me make one thing clear: imagination isn't about daydreaming. It's not about sitting on the sofa and imagining success all day. It's about seeing the possibility and then asking, what would I need to do to make this possible? That's the important part. Imagine, then learn, then act, and then improvise and repeat. So here's something I'd like you to do today. Think of one thing that you have always wanted to do, something you have kept postponing. Now ask yourself three questions. What would I love to create or achieve? What would I need to learn? And what is one small step I can take this week, maybe today? Not 10 steps, not 100 steps, just one. Because sometimes we make our dreams so complicated that we never begin. So don't do that. Make the first step simple. If you want to start a YouTube channel, record one video. If you want to learn editing, edit one short video. If you want to build a website, start with one page. If you want to learn a new business, learn about it on YouTube, on so many social media sites. So if you want to learn something new, give it 30 minutes a day, 30 minutes today. And that's how I approach many of these things I'm learning now. I didn't know everything when I started. I simply kept figuring it out, and I'm still figuring it out. But that's okay, because learning doesn't stop just because you have started. In fact, that's when the real learning begins. And this is something Napoleon Hill's ideas are making me understand more clearly. We often think success means reaching the destination. And maybe success is also about who you become while you're trying to get there. When I started this journey, I wanted to create something. But along the way, I started becoming more comfortable with learning new things, more comfortable with trying, more comfortable with making mistakes, more comfortable with correcting from those mistakes, more comfortable with starting before I had everything figured out. And maybe that's the real goal. The goal changes you, the journey teaches you, and efforts build you. So don't underestimate what can happen. When you simply start, you may begin with one idea and discover a complete new side of yourself. You may start learning one skill and discover three more. You may create something yourself and end up helping someone else. And that's something I genuinely hope Life Talks with PB can do for you all. Maybe someone listening to this has been waiting for the right moment, and maybe you need a little motivation, maybe you need a little more confidence, or maybe you simply need a little more nudge. If that's you, take this as a nudge. If you don't have a chance, if you don't have a chance to change your entire life in a day, take it just for today. Just start something, learn something, try something, build something, because you may surprise yourself. And today, learn, from Napoleon Hill if you like, because like we studied earlier, desire tells you what you want, faith keeps you believe in that dream that you have dreamt of. Auto suggestion reminds you to be careful about what you tell yourself. Specialized knowledge tells you about learning what you need. And imagination today has taught us to give ability to what you could be possibly doing. But then comes the most important part: action. Because an idea sitting right in your mind cannot change your life. You have to bring it to the real world. And that's why I'm saying to do so with my own life right now. I'm learning, building, experimenting, improvising, and I'm enjoying this part of my life more than I expected. So maybe the question is, am I ready? Maybe the better question is, what could I become if I simply start? think about it. And before we close, once again, thank you so much, everyone who has supported Life Talks with PB. Your calls, your messages, your encouragement really matters a lot to me. Every little bit matters, so keep on pouring your messages, and also don't forget to subscribe. If you have forgotten, that's really going to monetize a lot of things. Visit my website and my YouTube channel just to give me some feedback on improvising. And it's also about, a learning. So maybe you might also learn something about yourself. Thank you so much for listening to my mentor, Napoleon Hill, and learning from life and learning little more about yourself every day. So don't wait for everything to be perfect. Imagine what could be, learn what you need, take the first step, and move on. I'll see you in episode 6, which is also going to be even more interesting. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful life.